Aloha kids. So this is Mr. Cotton coming back at you again from my living room this time, now that I have a phone stand that I can actually use to record myself a little bit better. Just so you guys know, this week we're going to be having 2 math video lessons, so you're gonna see my ugly mug twice this week. So do watch out for those on the YouTube channel. Yeah, that being said, let's get started on our math lesson for the day. So last week, we looked at several different polygons. Remember that a polygon is a 2-dimensional shape, which means that it lies flat on the piece of paper that you draw it on, or it lies flat on a board, or whatever it is, whatever surface it is that you decide to put it on. It is also a closed shape, meaning that there's no openings in the shape. If an ant was trying to get into the store, it wouldn't be able to get in because there are no openings. It's all closed. And it's also made of lines that do not cross. So there's nothing that, no weird X going on the shape. A polygon is closed and there's no lines that cross. So today we're going to be looking at some special kinds of polygons, specifically polygons that have more than 4 sides. So last week we looked at triangles. Triangles have 3 sides. We looked at squares and rectangles, which both have 4 sides each. And we actually also looked at pentagons, which have 5 sides. So today we're going to be learning how to name and recognize those shapes that have more than 4 sides, like a pentagon. First, I really want to go over some of the prefixes and suffixes that we use to name those shapes. In reading and writing class, you've seen prefixes and suffixes. Remember that prefixes are what comes at the beginning of a word, and then suffixes are what comes towards the end of a word, right? And we're actually going to be making the names of these shapes using prefixes and suffixes. So first, what I really wanted to go over was the suffix gon. Now, this suffix is actually going to be a part of all of the shapes' names, so you're going to be seeing this suffix a lot. Gon actually means side. Let's write that down right here. Sorry for my funky handwriting. It's kind of hard to write off to the side here. So whenever we have a pentagon, for example, it means 5 sides because gon means side. Okay? Now penta is probably the easiest one to remember because you're probably more familiar with a pentagon than with the rest of these. Penta actually means 5. So when I use this prefix, I want my word to, part of it to mean 5. So pentagon means 5 sides, right? The next one, hexa. Hexa actually means 6. Now this one's easy to remember too because both of these words have the letter X in it. Hexa, 6, right? That's how I remember it anyway. Hexa, 6, right? Heptagon means 7. Hepta means 7, so a heptagon means a shape with 7 sides. Let me finish out this N right here. There you go. Now, octa means 8. Let me see. There you go. Okay. 8. There you go. Octa is actually really easy to remember as well. I just think about an octopus. So an octopus is, obviously has 8 tentacles. So octa means 8. Octopus, 8 tentacles. Octagon means 8 sides, right? Next, now this is something you probably haven't heard before. Nana. Not like none of your business, but nana means 9. And that's actually a really easy one to remember as well. Why? Because nana has 2 ends and 9 has 2 ends as well. It kind of actually sounds like 9, doesn't it? Nana, 9. That's how I remember it anyway. Deca means 10. There you go. Deca means 10, and I don't have a great way of remembering this one, except for if you know Spanish, you know that 10 is diez. So both starts with D, deca and diez. Diez means 10. That's kind of how I remember it, because I'm a native Spanish speaker. So I know it looks like a lot to remember, but don't you worry. I'm actually going to be posting this Anchor chart right here on Teams, and I'm also going to be sending it over to your parents on Dojo. So anytime you're naming a shape that has more than 4 sides, you can reference this anchor chart, and you can count the sides, and then you say, oh, this shape has 7 sides. So let me look at my anchor chart for 7. I know that's hepta, and then I know that side means gon, so I can build my the name of the shape by saying heptagon. I'm gonna put this in Teams in Class Dojo, so if you wanna pull it up to sort of reference it for our next part of the video, I would really encourage that, because you guys will be able to reference this, and as you reference this more and more, you're going to be more familiar with the nomenclature and be able to really make sure that your shapes have the perfect names. All right, guys. In the last video, we actually looked over some prefixes and suffixes for naming shapes with sides that are greater than 4. So polygons that have more than 4 sides, we have a special way to name them. And if you look at that video and you look at your anchor chart, you should be able to find the perfect names for those shapes. I wanted to go over some examples because during your Texas School Math lesson this week, you will be looking at some of these shapes. And I do challenge you to name them, okay, by looking at your anchor chart and building out your word. It's kind of like Legos if you think about it. You take one piece of the word and you take the other piece of the word, you put it together, and you form your perfect name for these shapes. Let's take a look at some of these examples. I've drawn some shapes. They all look funky. They're unlike anything that we've ever seen. And I mean, you can make your own shapes too. Challenge your parents to sort of name the shapes that you've built. Let's look at this first one right here. First, what we do is we count the sides to determine what prefix we're going to use. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, one thing about counting these sides, it can get pretty tough once you get to like a higher number of sides. So I'm going to encourage you to actually write down the number of sides. Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That way, you can keep track of which sides you've counted and which sides you haven't. Now this shape has 5 sides. Some of you might automatically know what the name of that is, but I really want you to look at your anchor chart so you can get used to referencing it. Now I'm going to say that 5 matches the suffix, or I'm sorry, the prefix penta. So I'm going to write that down. Penta. And then the last part of this word is going to be gon, because gon means sides. Pentagon literally means 5 sides. So the name of this shape is a pentagon. A pentagon has 5 sides. Let's look at this one right here. Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Stop right there. It's got 6 sides. Reference your anchor chart to see which prefix matches 6. You're going to find that is the prefix hexa. So I'm going to write hexa. And then I'm going to finish it off with my suffix gon, which means side. Gon. So the name for this shape is hexagon. Hexagon literally means 6 sides. Right? Hexa means 6, gon means sides. It's a hexagon. Next, let's count these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gonna count these even if they're short. 6, 7. Look at your anchor chart. You're gonna find that 7 means hepta. So I'm gonna write hepta. I'm gonna finish out my word with gon, because gon means side. Heptagon. Heptagon literally means 7 sides. Easy, right? Once you get the hang of this, of counting your sides and then looking at your anchor chart, it gets pretty easy to determine what the name is. Perfect names. Heptagon, Pentagon, Hexagon. They all kind of sound similar, right? It's kind of funny. All right, this shape right here. I'm going to count the sides for you, but I'm going to challenge you to pause the video once I finish counting the sides so that you can determine the name for yourself and then check if you're right. Let's count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 sides. Pause the video now to reference your anchor chart and then determine your own name. Okay, so after looking at your anchor chart, you should have noticed that 8 means octa. So octa. And then I add my suffix, gon. This is an octagon, an octagon. Octagon literally means 8 sides. Now, for the next 2 shapes, I actually want you to pause the video, count the sides, and then determine what the name is using your anchor chart that's posted on Teams and shared with you through Class Dojo. Take a moment now to pause and determine the name of the next 2 shapes, and then I will demonstrate the correct answer. All right, let's take a look. For this shape right here, this one looks pretty funky. I have no clue how many sides this is, so I'm going to start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you don't miss any sides. It's very important. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 sides. I'm going to look at my anchor chart, and I'm going to see that for 9, I'm going to use none. None of business. So let's see, none. Oh, got ahead of myself there a little bit. Nana. And then my suffix is gon. Nonagon. There you go. Nonagon literally means 9 sides. All right. Next shape. Let's count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and don't forget 10. Don't forget to count all of the sides. Be very careful you don't miss any, or you might miss the name of the shape. So if you look at your anchor chart, you're going to see that for 10, we use Deca. Deca, yes. 10. Deca. And then my suffix, gon. Decagon. Decagon literally means 10 sides. Did you get them right? There you have it. That's how you name polygons with sides greater than 4. Don't forget to reference your videos at any time during your lessons and to reference your anchor charts just in case you need a little bit of extra help. The more you use your anchor charts, the more familiar you're going to be with your prefixes and suffixes. If you have any questions, you can visit me on Teams during my office hours or just send me a message. I'll make sure to respond. All right, kids, happy learning.